For over 60 years, the United States government would not even confirm this place existed. No maps showed it. No officials would say its name. People who worked there weren't allowed to tell their own families what they did each day. This is Area 51, and the real story is stranger than the myth. In 2013, the CIA finally admitted what had actually been built and tested there. But to understand what was really happening, we have to go back to 1955. In April 1955, a small aircraft carrying CIA officer Richard Bissell and Lockheed Skunk Works designer Kelly Johnson flew over the remote southern Nevada desert. Below them lay Groom Lake, a vast salt flat located inside the Nevada test and training range. Johnson immediately saw the dry, rock-hard lake bed as a perfect natural runway, capable of supporting experimental aircraft away from public eyes. Back in Washington, the bureaucratic gears turned rapidly. The CIA petitioned the Atomic Energy Commission to annex the remote parcel. With the approval of Commission Chairman Lewis Strauss, the request went to the White House. On April 26th, President Dwight Eisenhower signed Executive Order 10,633, transferring the territory and establishing the classified site. Immediately after the land transfer, the CIA began transforming the barren salt flat into a secure, fully functional test field. Operating under the code name Project Aquatone, construction crews worked in complete isolation, erecting hangars, runways, and housing units under strict security. By July 1955, a 5,000-foot runway cut across the desert floor, hidden from the public by miles of restricted government land. This extreme geographic isolation allowed Lockheed engineers to assemble and prepare the secret U-2 spy plane away from foreign eyes. The speed of the build paid off on August 4th, 1955, when test pilot Tony LaVere taxied the silver, glider-like aircraft onto the dry lake bed. With its single jet engine, the U-2 lifted off from Groom Lake for its first official test flight. The sudden appearance of these high-altitude flights in the late 1950s triggered a massive wave of unexplained aerial reports across the Southwest. The U-2 routinely operated above 60,000 feet, an altitude completely empty of civilian or standard military traffic at the time. To commercial pilots and observers on the ground, an aircraft flying this high was visually impossible. When the late afternoon sun struck the U-2's wide, silver aluminum wings, the reflective metal acted like a giant mirror, casting bright flashes and glowing shapes across the twilight sky. Lacking any classified context, witnesses reported these silent, shimmering lights as unidentified flying objects. Air Force investigators with Project Blue Book systematically cross-checked these civilian letters against highly classified U-2 flight logs. They discovered that more than half of the regional UFO sightings from this period perfectly matched the exact times and coordinates of secret missions launched from Groom Lake. On April 30th, 1962, the secrecy surrounding Groom Lake deepened with the first flight of the Lockheed A-12. Built almost entirely of titanium to withstand extreme frictional heat, this twin-engine reconnaissance platform flew at speeds exceeding Mach 3. Its flat, paneled shape and intense afterburner glow appeared entirely unnatural from the ground, generating a new wave of reports that civilian radars and eyes could not explain. In 1966, the SR-71 Blackbird entered service, extending this secret lineage. To protect these programs, the government systematically hid the facility's physical existence. The United States Geological Survey omitted the runway from topographic maps, leaving only a blank salt flat. Official cover stories, weather balloon explanations, and deliberate cartographic redactions ensured that as the physical testing programs expanded, the myth of what was happening in the desert grew with them. In August 2013, the CIA released a declassified history of the U-2 and Oxcart programs, officially confirming the existence of Groom Lake. The documents verified the site's true purpose as a testing ground for experimental aircraft rather than extraterrestrial research. This paper trail forced decades of public myth to confront the official military record. Area 51 never needed aliens to be one of the most secretive places on Earth. The real story, hidden for 60 years, was about the machines built to win a different kind of war. Which raises a bigger question. How many other secrets are still sitting behind a fence in the desert, waiting for their 60 years to run out? Today, the dry lake bed is far from abandoned. Groom Lake remains an active military facility, protected by a security perimeter of armed guards and motion sensors. Overhead, the Federal Aviation Administration still enforces the restricted airspace known as R4808N, keeping civilian air traffic completely barred 24 hours a day. Modern satellite imagery from Maxar and Planet Labs reveals that the base is actually growing. Recent photos show an 8,500-foot runway extension, newly erected hangars, and regular vehicle movement. As long as the gates stay locked and the skies remain closed, the desert will keep producing new secrets. Area 51 never needed aliens to be one of the most secretive places on Earth. The real story, hidden for 60 years, was about the machines built to win a different kind of war. Which raises a bigger question. How many other secrets are still sitting behind a fence in the desert, waiting for their 60 years to run out?